Here's an example of how to calculate the payment using the payment formula. So I pulled an example straight from my math lab. Here's a situation where we're going to borrow $13,000 for a car. We've determined that we can afford a monthly payment of $300, and we want to know which one of these offers will meet our needs. So let's look at the first one. We've got 3 years, 8% APR, and the amount we're going to finance is $13,000. So let's put all the values into the variables at play. So for the formula, the PMT would be equal to the principal, which would be $13,000, times the APR, which is 0.08, divided by N. And in this formula, N is always 12 because we're going to make 12 monthly payments. In the denominator, we have 1 minus 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12, raised to the negative 12 times, and that is 3 for 3 years. So we've got all the values into play here. Now we need to do the calculation. And I suggest that you just do it one piece at a time. Let's first figure out the numerator value. So let's go to the calculator, and we've got 13,000 times, and it's 0.08 divided by 12. You need to use the correct grouping symbols when putting this in your calculator. Since 0.08 divided by 12 is in parentheses, I'm going to put it in parentheses. 0.08 divided by 12. That will give me my numerator value. So I'm actually going to write that down. 86 point and a bunch of sixes. We can't round any values until we get to the final answer. So that's why I'm going to leave all those decimals on that 86. Now let's work on the bottom. I've got 1 minus. I'm not going to work on that yet. I'm going to work on what the part that's in the parentheses. So let's look at putting this part here in our calculator. And I highlighted the parentheses because it's open parenthesis, 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12, close parenthesis, and that's raised to the negative 12 times 3 power. And so 2 sets of parentheses. I got a set of parentheses around the exponent and a set of parentheses around this base part. So let's put that in. So I'm going to use parentheses. 1 plus 0.08, whoops, not a 5, that's an 8, divided by 12. I'm going to close that parenthesis. Then I'm going to use my exponent feature. In this case, it is this caret button, but on your calculator, it might be a y to the x or an x to the y. And in my exponent, I'm going to put in parentheses. And I'm going to type in the negative, and the little negative on the TI calculator is right here at the bottom. It's a little negative in parentheses. Negative 12 times 3 power, and I'm going to close that parenthesis. So this is going to give me the value behind that 1 in the denominator. So I'm going to type that out, and I'm going to write out as much of it as I can. 0.78725. 0.78725. I need to get some more of those. 46299. 46299. I'm going to be consistent. Where's my blue? Here's my blue. Okay. So I've got my numerator of 86.6666666 with a throw a 7 on the end if we want. My denominator, I have 1 minus this 0.78725. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out that denominator. So I need 1 minus that long decimal. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my calculator. I know that I need 1 minus this value. But I'm just going to do that value minus 1, just because I don't feel like retyping that value in. I know the sign's going to be wrong because I didn't do 1 minus 0.78. I did 0.78 minus 1. So realize that by doing that, my sign's going to be off, but I've got the right value for that 1 minus 0.78725. So I'm going to write that down, 0.2127, 0.2127, 453701. 453701. Remember, you can't round until you get to the final answer. Make sure I copied that right. Okay, so now let's finish the calculation. Let's take the 86 point and with a bunch of sixes, and let's just throw a 7 on the end, divided by 0.212. Make sure I type that in the right way. All right. Now I can round my answer. So I end up with $407 and 0.372 cents. So I'd say 407.37. So that would be my payment for this first scenario. Now this isn't the only way to do this problem by hand, but it's one way so you can keep track of your intermediate values. But the moral of the story is you can't round until you get to your final answer. And it may be helpful if you do each step individually and just keep track of it. Hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.